Hello, I'm Kai-Fu Lee from Sinovation Ventures. Thanks to SABPA organizing committee for this invitation for me to present at the FTD annual conference. And my talk is about AI and healthcare, the challenges and opportunities that are brought about by the confluence of artificial intelligence and healthcare. Is healthcare ready for AI? I think the answer is a resounding yes, for the simple reason that, as I mentioned, AI brain requires a huge amount of data, which is why the internet apps are currently the kings of AI today. The Googles, the Amazons, the Tencent, Alibabas of the world have collected so much data, and that data is being used to optimize business results using AI algorithms. So we can draw a corollary that whatever domain or field where digitization and data is happening, that is a great place for applying AI. So once this data is gathered, structuralized, and we learn to use it to predict outcome and to propose solutions, it can add a great deal to the healthcare practice today, which is more based on experiential aspects of the doctors themselves. Now, the AI can be a data-driven method. And another way to think about it is each doctor may see tens of thousands of patients in his or her lifetime, and from which he or she gathers knowledge, experience to make estimates and prescription and diagnosis on new patients. But think about when we have AI gathering data, not from tens of thousands of patients, but from tens of millions or even billions of patients and data, it can get to a much higher degree of specificity and accuracy. Doctors can't absorb that much data, and they also haven't had experience in reading many of the data that's coming in. So this is really the job of AI. AI can look at all this data that's being formed and become an incredible partner and assistant to the physician or to the researcher in the healthcare domain. So in conclusion on these two issues, I want to point out is that when we think about AI and healthcare, first, we really should not just be thinking about what data do we already have? Shall we just use it? If the data is used to train medical student, we'll use it for AI. That does not work. For AI to work, we need large sets of data, millions if possible, structured, well labeled in a closed loop. Okay? The second point is that the healthcare value chain must be respected, and any AI application or implementation must fit in the value chain, leading to win-wins for participants, as opposed to challenging, threatening, or even claiming to be replacing some of the key stakeholders. That does not bode well, because the stakeholders are in charge of the healthcare and medical industry. So what can be done in healthcare and AI? I'll talk about a number of areas I'm most excited about. The first one is AI and pathology. Pathology is an area where there really, in China, is particularly lacking in qualified pathologists. And yet, pathology is an area of computer vision where clearly AI can do a better job. It's an area that takes a long time to train professionals, and there aren't enough professionals, so we can actually build solutions that can address the shortage in the market that's needed without threatening the jobs for the pathologists, at least in the short to medium term. And what needs to be done is that we need to make sure digital pathology really takes off, because today the gold standard is still using the human reading of the non-digital approach. Another area is AI and multi-omics. Because multi-omics, starting from next generation sequencing and other types of sequencing, is fundamentally digital data. And the data is too large for humans to currently understand. Yet we know that this is an excellent basis on which to make precision treatment. But also multi-omics, I think, can provide tremendous hints on how to treat people individually. This is really new territory for healthcare, and we're very excited the role that AI can play, because multiomics is a huge amount of data, and from that data, it's hard for humans to make sense out of it. So it's a great thing for AI to work on. I think in order for this vision to become realizable, we really need to trust the AI experts that we need massive structured amount of data that can make the AI brain really become smart. And at the same time, we need to respect the ecosystem in the commercialization of AI technologies to make sure that it fits within the current construct of the healthcare ecosystem, and that it leads to a win-win with the professionals and companies involved in healthcare. Thank you very much for your attention.